Fresh off their return from Korea, Dignitas has just beat Coast in their first game of the LCS 2015 season for these guys. Crumbz is here with me. Crumbz, when did you get back from Korea?
We got back around the 20th or 21st of this month.
So just actually a couple days ago, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Are you jet lagged at the moment, or how's the team coping from the transition?
I think we're still pretty tired, but next week will be perfect.
Now, you and I were discussing right before the interview that you guys did not do or make a lot of fanfare. There was not too much discussion about the fact that you guys were in Korea boot camping for this. When did you go over there? How long were you over there? And then what was that? What was going on over there?
We went for 10 days, I think, and we just practiced as hard as we could while we were over there. We had a Korean coach helping us out, kind of took the Korean gaming house experience, and obviously you can take a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. So we still have to manage to absorb that information effectively.
I have missed the analogies that you always give every time I do an interview with you. I forgot about that.
That one, that's a very common one.
Yes, that one I have heard. Oftentimes you make more ridiculous ones, but you at least always make them in an interview. It takes a very short time. Anyway, speaking of coaches, what is the current status of your coaching situation? Because I noticed that you had Alexia, I believe, who was kind of like the general manager for you guys last season. Has he transitioned over coaching?
Kind of. We have analysts that I believe want to go into a coaching role. We will have that, but at the moment we do not.
So he's the guy on stage.
He's taking over for now, I think. I don't know what he wants to do in the future in terms of if he wants to develop himself into a coach or stay more of a motivational coach in that sense. So that's an interview for him in the future. But for now, I don't know.
Thank you. I like that you're setting that up for me. Can you arrange like a time and date?
Well, you just talk to him, like he'll probably say yes.
Wow. This interviewing thing is so easy. So what happens on stage whenever you guys are doing picks and bands? Because obviously he's there. Is he actually effectively helping you guys with the picks and bands? And I mean, because there's so many questions about the coaching situation.
Well, we only had one game so far, and mostly he just kind of helps us keep our head in the game. Be like, okay, think about this one. Just kind of making us think and not falter in our thought process and start just drifting away and forgetting certain parts of the gameplay. Be like, hey, are you forgetting anything? Like, what about this champion? Like, should you not do this one? Like, you rehearse this one, remember what you wanted to go for, the plan, things like that. So it mostly just helping us know all the bases that we covered the night before, which is very useful.
Nice. And other than that, what do you think? I mean, you guys came out, you won this with kind of like an interesting ending. What do you think Dignitas is looking to be this split, or what do you think it'll be? Are you guys just sort of like, hey, like we've got this new roster, we want to be top 4? Or are you guys like, this is going to be our number 1 year, like we're coming out of Korea hot?
I mean, I'm not saying we coming out of Korea hot, like we just practice, right? We got some more knowledge to put in our arsenal, so it's not like we went to a crazy hyperbolic chamber and now we're going to beat everybody. We got to take it one step at a time. But I think the goal that we want to do is focus a lot more on the team play and just make sure that we're all on the same page. And I didn't really feel like that in the game that we had, but I mean, I had a really strong early game for that game, and then one mistake kind of tilted me a little, and then I feel like I got heavily outplayed after that. So I'm glad that we're still able to pick up the win before that. But for the rest, I usually just feel like almost like I'm holding back my teammates. So I really have to practice a lot, and every time like I gotta play better, right? I gotta play perfect. If I'm not playing a perfect game, then I'm messing up, and it's not good enough.
Now, you guys are kind of one of the only teams I think that had like these international players join and are actually fully here for this. And you guys were able to use how I guess the question is how well have they integrated into the team, especially based on that last game that you just played?
They've been integrated very well, but they still have the language barrier, and obviously it goes both ways. There's still a lot of things that they want to tell us, and we want to tell them, and break the barrier. And they agree, and we think so as well, that once that goes down, we'll be able to become a much better team. But for now, I think that I mean, I try to crack jokes a lot of the times, and then it's usually just like, huh, what does that mean? Like, really? And then they just kind of laugh awkwardly. I'm just like, it was a joke, never mind. But I think they mostly just miss the Korean food. I mean, we went over to Korea and kind of experienced what a gaming house eats there, and it is vastly different from what we eat in the United States. Like it is worlds apart. So
Like in a good way?
I would prefer the. Okay, the Korean food does not have that much variety, but it is a lot healthier. Like way hell, you feel good after. Like, see, the thing is, when you eat in the States, you got to eat. You come back, you're like, oh shit, I'm in a food coma. I can't scrim. Pretty much every time, it's like, oh, I can't scrim. I'm like, my body's shutting down because we ate so much and such heavy foods. And then in Korea, it's like, oh, I feel good. Or, I don't even know if I'm full or not, but I know I have the nutrients in my body to perform.
So then are you going to shift the Dignitas house over to the Korean style of eating?
If we could hire a Korean lady to come to the house and cook for us every meal, we would, but we cannot. So no.
Why does it have to be a Korean lady?
Because she knows Korean foods, Travis.
Yeah, I'm not speaking specifically to the race modifier in that. The gender one was what I was referring to. Why can't it be a Korean man?
Well, if we find a man that can cook the same way, then yeah. But I'm saying a woman because we had a woman cook for us in Korea.
So you're referencing like that specific woman.
Yes, exactly.
Have you begun negotiations with her at all, or entered any kind of conversation?
No, I don't think she speaks English.
Okay. Well, interestingly enough, you guys have players that speak Korean.
But there is that language barrier, Travis. Remember that's keeping us apart.
Speaking of the language barrier, and I'll wrap this up here, but okay, so as you just mentioned, it's hard for you guys to induce a woman to come over here and cook for you because of the language barrier. Do you feel like you have similar issues in game? Like, in other words, how does this communication? Sorry, it was a great. It was a joke. It was
a woman to come cook in the Wyoming game.
No. So what just happened is a great example of what you were saying earlier, where you try to crack a joke with your teammates, and then they just look at you and say, "Hey, what?" And as we just saw, that was you were very confused.
During game,
Okay. How does communication work? Do you go like just Baron, Baron, Baron? Is this kind of like the ping and like the Royal Club style?
I think their better better understanding of English is within the game because as it happens, Korean players and I feel like all over the world, even if they play League in a different language, English always comes back to it. There's a lot of English words that they use, like back, like nice, things like that. So they understand quite a bit of that. But more intricate plays, I feel like I feel like maybe I'm getting too ahead of myself, and they can't tell me that, and I can't communicate effectively what I'm doing. So I don't have the follow up, and they don't have the ability to restrain me, and that is a problem. But I think over time that it will get better. Because they are actively learning English every day.
I would agree with you on that international player thing, except for I know Europeans all say Drake for dragon, which doesn't make sense to me at all.
For Baron.
Yeah. We call it, So what strange people those Europeans are. Do you agree?
No. I like Europeans.
I like them too, but why would they call it Drake? Do you have anything that you would like to say here at the end to anybody who's considering being a Dignitas fan? The split.
Well, if you're considering being a Dig fan, then thank you for that. You got a nice little book club going of Dig supporters. But we'll just try to improve a lot. And we're probably not going to be able to provide as much fan content and streaming as other teams because we're kind of more heavily focused on practicing, really. Because in the end, that's really all that matters.
Very good. I like that answer. Where can people find out more about the book club?
Well, I have quite a bit of books. Oh, you're not going to believe this one. So I got a lot of books, and a lot of them happen to be existential. So then I'm on the plane. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to plane to Korea. I'm like, I'm going to bust this out. I'm going to read this book. 30 pages in, like, I can't read this. Like, my mind is just like completely drifting off. It was The Doors of Perception. And I'm reading it. I'm like, what is my perception of League? Like, am I really perceiving it in the right way? No, I can't do that. So I just gotta pretty much put everything aside and it's like, okay, time to play video games.
For more coverage of the 2015 LCS, you can check out all things League at ongamers.com.